Okay. Well, time to sound the alarm. We're going to put some teams on upset alert here, and we're going to see if we can continue this roll that we're on. I've only got one team to put on upset alert here this week. It's been a while since I've, talked about a military academy on
I
here.
I had a
And
guess this was going to be your upset alert.
yep, it's I'm putting
Yep.
Tulane on upset alert. They just hopped in the college football playoff rankings at number 25. Okay. Anytime you get a team hopping in there for the first time, kind of get all fat and happy, you got to go to Annapolis and face off with only 1 week to prepare that Navy offense. And Navy's won 6 out of 7 against the Green Wave. Now, they haven't played in a couple of years, but they've won 6 out of 7 against the Green Wave. And Navy's catching 7 points in this game. I think there's a real shot Navy could beat them straight up. And I think that Navy +7 is a very, very good bet. I have not placed it yet, but I think Navy +7 is a really solid look.
Honestly, man, that was because, like, for those that don't know, again, I'll remind upset alert is anybody that is getting more than 4 points. So 4.5 and more is how we make this list of upset alert. There just wasn't a ton again this week, but Tyler's been pretty hot this year on it. So I've not been as good. So take this with a grain of salt. I didn't have a ton either. Like, that was one that I thought about. But one that I found, I'm going to put Maryland on upset alert against Rutgers. We are all Shiano men against Sunge, the State University of New Jersey, getting 6.5 points in College Park, Maryland, against the Terps. Rutgers looked interesting year for them. They start out hot and looked really good, and then all of a sudden they just poop down their leg and look awful for about 3 weeks. And then they show up last week and beat Minnesota straight up. A good Minnesota team at home beat them straight up. And now they're going on the road to Maryland and catching 6.5 points. Maryland lost to Northwestern by 1 billion at home. Maryland is they lost by a ton to Minnesota as well. Honestly, I don't know that I don't even know that Maryland's a better football team in this game. So if I'm getting 6.5, I'll take my chances here. Maybe they cover the spread, but I think that Rutgers has a chance to win this game straight up against Maryland. So I'll take Rutgers. I'll put Maryland on upset alert against Rutgers.
Okay. Time to get to best bets. I've already said Texas -13.5 and Georgia -9.5. Those are the only two I have right now. Thinking about, I mentioned Navy +7. I mentioned Kansas +3. You and I were talking kind of like Washington at home on Friday night against UCLA. They're laying 4.5 right now. They've just been a different team at home than they have on the road.
100%.
And UCLA is playing really well, which shows you that this, spread is down to where it's at. So respect is coming in on UCLA. I just kind of like Washington in this old school Pac-12 matchup. I also kind of like Houston with the money line on Friday night. Only 1.5 point dogs at Arizona. Willie Fritz has got the Cougars playing really good ball down there. Looking at Illinois, possibly at home against Michigan State. Like Bielema in these late November games. And I think Illinois is just a more physical team there. Penn State -28.5 against Purdue. That's pretty much self-explanatory. Everybody's been doing that to Purdue all year. I don't think it matters home or away. So there's probably going to be 20 people in the stands at, Ross-Ade Stadium there in West Lafayette. So a couple I'm really looking at here. All right. Nebraska +9.5 against USC. I just have no faith in Lincoln Riley right now. And how about Matt Rule? Really just kind of saying, you know what? Screw this. Let's go balls to the wall with the offense. Let's bring in Dana Holgerson.
Holgo is back in college football, baby.
To run the offense, man. What do you think of that move?
I love it, man. The dude can coach offense, okay? Like, I don't know how much of a head coach and CEO he really is, but the dude can coach offense. I mean, he had some really good offenses at West Virginia. I mean, really everywhere he's been, man. And when he was an offensive coordinator before then, at some of his other stops, I was a really big fan of his over the years of what his offenses did. I just don't think the dude is necessarily a great head coach. But you put that guy with a headset on and let him just dial up some ball plays, he can coach. And there's a lot of talent on this Nebraska offense. And I think that's why Matt Rule
2 weeks to prepare.
Exactly.
Too.
I think that's why Matt Rule made this decision, man. Like, there really is. Like, Nebraska's got too much talent this year. This year's team, they actually do have some good athletes on the perimeter at receiver. They do have a talented 5-star, albeit true freshman, but still Raiola has shown he can make throws. And is a very talented live arm and is a really good quarterback, even for just a freshman. And they've got 2 or 3 good tailbacks. There's no reason that they should be as piss poor as they are offensively the last few weeks. So I think that's why Matt Rule made this decision. It's very obvious that Satterfield, the OC at the time, guy calling plays, was not doing a good job. So he made the move. I don't know, with 2 weeks to prepare on a never being coaching on this team at all, what it can do. I have no idea. But obviously USC, they've made a change as well. They've completely changed quarterbacks. And is it Jaden Mayav? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Jaden
transferred from UNLV to USC. They benched Miller Moss, so he's going to play in this game, a little bit more of a dual threat guy. So, it's his first start. Nebraska's defense is solid, especially that defensive front. So, that's not a bad pick, man. Maybe we should have put USC on upset alert with the Huskers.
I thought about it. I just don't know if the Cornhuskers can get it done outright. But one more I'm looking at too is you're going to fade another team who's just been really struggling for the last 3 weeks, and looking at Cincinnati plus 9.5 going on the road and playing Iowa State. Iowa State last 3 games has failed to cover. They should have lost to UCF. They got ran out of the building last week against Kansas. They lost at home to Texas Tech. These Big 12 games too, it's like 9.5 points, man. That seems like way too much for a Big 12 game.
Is that your last one?
It's my last one.
Man. I appreciate it, because this is what we call a lead, like an assist. Tyler just alley-ooped me. He is correct. These Big 12 games with some of these lines are a little too much sometimes. I think Iowa State is going to win the game at home. Do I think they're going to cover? I'm really not sure. So your boy here is going to do something that is not what I'm not a professional bettor, but it's not what you should do in college football, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to give a little I'm going to call it, I'm going to give it a name too, America's Conference teaser of the week. I'm going to do a little 2-team teaser with 2 Big 12 games. I'm going to pair Iowa State minus 2.5 with Kansas State minus 1. So I need Iowa State to win by a field goal at home against Cincinnati, and I need Kansas State just to beat Arizona State basically at home. So, again, your America's Conference teaser of the week is Iowa State minus 2.5, Kansas State minus 1.
Beautiful.
Another best bet of mine is Kansas State minus 8. I'm going to take K-State minus 8 as well against the spread. I think Kansas State, they're really good against the run. Arizona State with Cam Scatterbo and that running game for Arizona State, that's what they want to do. They want to run the football. And I think Kansas State, again, matchup-wise, style-wise, styles make fights. I think the Purple Cats and Chris Kleiman's Kansas State squad gets it done and covers the spread against Arizona State at home in Manhattan. Again, Chris Kleiman, I don't have the numbers in front of me. Just take my word for it. They're really good at home. They cover the spread. They're a cover machine at home. They didn't cover their last game at home against arch rival Kansas, but again, they do a good job and cover most of their games at home and win straight up. So I'm going to take Kansas State minus 8 in that game. I am going to take a shot, and I'm going to try one more time to try to beat UCLA against the spread. They've beat me multiple times this year. They may do it again. But I'm getting a blackout at Husky Stadium on a Friday night with the Huskies coming off a couple of road losses, coming back at home. You alluded to it. They've been much better at home this year. I don't think they've lost at home this year.
5-0 straight, 4-1 against the spread.
There you go. There's the numbers. So I like the Huskies this week against UCLA. It currently is minus 4. I see a couple shops showing 4.5, but the most of your shops have -4. That's a fair line. So I'm gonna give Huskies -4. I already gave out Georgia -9.5, and I already gave out Georgia, Tennessee under 48.5 as best bets as well. Some other ones I'm looking at. I'm definitely looking at Kansas as a possibility. I'm absolutely looking at that as a possibility, and that's really all that I'm looking at the moment. So
Okay.
yeah, got a few of you guys out there to play with a little bit this week. But yeah, I'm let's see if we can get in the green again this week, man. We've had 3 weeks in a row. See if we can make it 4 in a row.
Yep. We'll put out our picks on X on Saturday morning, like Lance mentioned. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Follow us on all social media. Listen to us on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Share with your friends. Again, 100 episodes in the bag. We're ready for another 100. We love doing this. We love talking with you guys. Thanks for all the positive feedback and everything over the last 15 months. We'll be back on Monday morning to recap week 12 and to kind of look ahead to week 13 a little bit. So until then.